All right, let's see if we got this going here. We should be live. Now I just got to wait for the screen to come up. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. All right, here comes the screen. I can see me. All right, so Prep Rebel says 5x5. There's one. See if the rest of you guys can hear me. John, Mr. G, Fast. Oh, Larry. Oh, okay. Yeah, good deal, guys. Happy Tuesday. Sorry I didn't get this up until late. It's just time started getting away from me today, and it was like, this is me. I'm like, holy crap, my live stream's in a half an hour. So yeah, just getting everything done. It's springtime, so figure what you can. And after this rain we had the last couple of days, it's like, all right, things are looking good. So hope you all had a good weekend, good week since we did this last time. No crazy giveaways tonight, so we don't kill half the time by doing all that. But yeah, obviously we haven't heard the results to come in from Wisconsin yet, as I was talking about this morning. So probably, if we know that, it'll be later tonight after we're done. If not, we'll find out probably sometime in the morning. It can't be that difficult to count. We did have one positive. We got Mike Waltz's seat down in Florida. They had the special election today. They held that seat, so that was good. So that'll add one GOP congressman to the majority. Not that it's doing us a whole lot of good after we had some procedural shenanigans put on today. And Congress is taking the rest of the week off because of it. And I got to say, I disagree with what caused it all. And I certainly disagree with what the ramifications are of it. If you guys saw it, I briefly touched on it this morning, is Anna Paulina Luna, who is a good congresswoman from Florida, had put a bill up to allow Congress people to take maternity leave and vote by proxy. And the problem with that is, while I understand it, hey, I just had maternity leave, just had a baby, whatever it is. Okay, I get it. But where does it go? I mean, Pete Buttigieg had maternity leave. Remember that? And like I said earlier, oh, my dog's in. I've got, a mani-pedi scheduled. My personal belief, kind of like everything else, and it's kind of funny that they're doing this too. All these stories of, we're hearing from Doge on, these people haven't been to work in 4 years. They're still collecting a paycheck. We've got to get them back in the office, right? We've heard all that. And at the same time, Congress is coming up with, we don't need to be in the office to do our job. That doesn't fly with me. Okay. Sorry. Being a representative, being a senator is not a work from home job. If you can't be at the office, get out of the position and let somebody who's willing to go do the job do it. So, but of course, Congress people never think about the country. They think about themselves first. And so either party, I'm not going to differentiate there whatsoever. That's just crap that they're trying to come up with excuses for not being at work. If you can't go to work, then resign from your seat and let somebody go do it who can commit to being there. I get the fact that, hey, people have kids and stuff like that, but I think this has happened less than 20 times in the history of the country. Where, so you figure in 250 years, less than 20 times has a sitting Congress person needed to take maternity leave. Okay, not that important. So, but yeah, as Brenda's saying here, family leave time is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous on the government side. I still think on the corporate side, the private sector, that family leave is a little ridiculous. It's like, oh, you get 6 weeks maternity. Try finding daycare for a 6-week-old. Good luck. Okay. Mom's got to go back to work. So, that doesn't work. But, the government being, oh, we get God knows how much time off. That's a little silly. So we got, you want a government job, you should be working your ass off, not working 20 hours a week and expecting a six-figure salary. So that's just it. But yeah, so not a whole lot to discuss in a monologue, but certainly a lot of questions. So let's go straight to Q&A here. Let's get along. Okay. As per normal, if you guys got questions for me, uh, please put them in all caps. Just makes it easier for me to find the questions in the chat room. Of course, please, I wholeheartedly encourage you guys to talk amongst yourselves. Just do it in lowercase. Only rule, which more and more people seem to be thinking it's going to break, even in the comments section, is treating each other politely and with respect. I don't care. Okay, people need to understand this. You want to be an ass, I will toss you. There aren't second chances. I don't give a shit. Want to be an ass? I see the comment. You're gone. Goodbye forever. No questions answered. So, no. Disagree is fine. Being rude is not. Okay. There are quite a few people that found that out in the conversations this week. All right. Let us go to Q&A. And let's see, there's all the 5x5s. And Rep Rebel says, did I get all my April planting done? Yep, Mrs. P and I got peppers, tomatoes, cukes started last week. The cabbage, the beets are growing along well. The cucumbers have already sprouted, so that's good. I didn't go out and look at the tomatoes today, but they're probably pretty close. Probably get the cabbage and the beets in the ground sometime this week. The cabbage at least have its first true leaves on it, so that's good. They're getting a little bigger, but I want those to be big enough seedlings so that the squirrels don't go, hey, look, a salad. So that's kind of my plan there, so they're a little bigger so they can survive. Because otherwise they just get eaten right down to the stalks, even by the birds, and not even interested in doing that. So, and I just got a notification on my computer that it needs to do a restart. Give me a second. I want to schedule that so it doesn't do it right in the middle of the live stream. Okay. All right. Yep. So that's all good. I don't think I've got it. I don't think there's not much left for me to start from seed. Because we're growing large crops of a small amount of things this year. Corn, I don't start for another month. Tomatoes are done, peppers are done, beets are done, cabbages done, asparagus, garlic, sand, onions. The beans are direct seed. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've got left that'll even be started, the only thing I've got left to plant is corn and beans for the year. So, I mean, that's what so yeah, most of my planting is already done. Oh, and just a quick one. I know it's April 1st. There won't be any April Fool's jokes today, guys, so I'm not going to BS you on anything. Don't worry about that. Like I said this morning, it's kind of fun all the time. You got to figure out what the news is telling you that's true and not because they think it's funny. I don't think when you talk about serious issues, it's a place for humor. So personally. Yarn Prepper, Milwaukee is out of ballots, told to stay in line. How the hell does this happen? I mean, this seems to be happening in every election. It's like, oh, the machines don't work. Oh, we don't have enough ballots. Gee, let's see. We have 100. I'm just going to make up numbers. We have 100,000 registered voters. You know what? Let's have 200,000 ballots printed. Just in case somebody needs, every single person needs a second one. Where, something stupid. How do you run out of ballots? Oh, they're trying to save money. No, they're trying to make disenfranchised voters is what they're trying to do. Grandma's Homemade says Northeast Arkansas to get 12 plus inches of rain. I don't know when that's supposed to be. I haven't heard of any storms. I didn't check the weather report today. So yeah, that's insane. Though you had southern Mississippi yesterday, they got somewhere between 8 and 10 with this storm that went through there. We mentioned Brenda's comment. Okay. Original one shot, one kill. Pinball, what do you think about the gold price spike and huge orders to move to safety? Are we looking at a war? It's not, well, let's put it this way, it's not at all. Okay. Something, there's always a flight to safety into gold and stuff like that, even though gold was down today. But the big reason that gold has been on such a run for the last couple of weeks is because tomorrow is Trump's tariff day. And so there's a lot of investors, if you will, big investors. I'm not talking you and me, but the institutional investors that are moving money to safety because they don't know what the stock market's going to do. There's a lot of places that figure, that the market's going to tank. Market's been slowly tanking here for about the last 2 weeks. Well, maybe the last month. But you figure the S&P is down for the year, the Nasdaq's down for the year, the Dow is down for the year, gold is up, Bitcoin is down for the year to date, since January 1st. So the only asset class, if you will, that people invest in. I mean, sure, there's other things. I don't know what commodities futures are, wheat prices or something. I don't track that. But the major things that people invest in are all down except for gold. It's a flight to safety, and it's all a worry about what's going to happen to the global economy, the markets, when these tariffs go into place. Is it going to raise prices? Is it going to cut profits? Because remember what the stock market is. You're betting on future profits of a company. Well, you're not betting on profits of gold. Gold is gold, and that's it. Silver is silver. So it's a safe haven asset. The majority of the move is because of the uncertainty right now over the Trump tariffs. And as I said, we're going to have to wait 6 months before we see how effective they are. And again, we know how Trump works. We don't know if tomorrow morning he comes up and says, this is all something else. I mean, he plays poker, guys. This buying Canada, buying Greenland, redoing the Panama Canal, running for a third term, all these sorts of, a lot of this is playing poker, bluffing, and to get the other players to show their hand, to do something. Remember the whole thing with Canada was to get them to close the border, and it turned into, because too much fentanyl and too many illegals were coming across. And then it turned into tariffs because, Doug Ford and who's the new prime minister, just doing stupid stuff. And, so they start ratcheting it up, and they're betting on aces and eights, where Trump's holding 4 kings. It doesn't work that way. So, Essential Tam, what does my shirt say? It says Biden Fetterman. It's a no-brainer. This was a T-shirt from last year. It was kind of a joke against Biden and Fetterman, brain dead. So, but hey, it's still a T-shirt. I'm working outside. Like I'm worried about putting on good clothes. If I trash this one, I really care. S. Cook, I don't believe that many of them are young enough to be pregnant, going back to the Congress thing. Right. And that's why it's been less than 20 in the history of the country. There aren't a lot. Sure, you can get pregnant in your 30s and your 40s. I mean, you start getting a little more high risk at that point. There aren't a whole lot of women in their 20s that are getting elected to Congress. In their 30s, okay, then we start thinking about, God forbid, AOC or Jasmine Crocas or Ilhan Omar reproducing. We don't need to add more stupid people to the country. But, there are some. But Yeah, I mean, you figure the average age in Congress is something like 60, and the only reason that is because we've got some 30 and 40-year-olds to offset the 70 and the 80-year-olds. Carolyn Food Forest, good timing for maturity leave. I think you meant maternity leave. My Florida District 3 Congresswoman just announced she's pregnant and due in August. She just announced she's pregnant. Okay, and she's 5 months in. Okay, got it. You think she might have known a little earlier? Somebody might have noticed. I don't know. Uh, there we go. It's like, what are we doing here? I gotta get to the bottom. All right, so let me go scroll up here. Okay, close again. Do. Rock. Do I think grocery prices will come down anytime soon? Well, they already have been. Mr. P and I were at the grocery store on Sunday. Dozen eggs was $3.49. 2 weeks ago it was $8.39. So in that respect, eggs are down almost $5 a dozen in 2 weeks for me. Same store. So it wasn't like it was anything different. But as a whole, seeing grocery prices coming down, seeing meat prices coming down, count on it. Okay. Uh, prices go up. Rarely do they come down. Don't expect to be seeing 99-cent pound ground beef again. Don't expect to be seeing 69-cent chicken breasts or anything. Those days are long gone. Okay? This is going to be the new normal. Maybe we'll have a little bit of drift down here, but we are not going back to the prices we had 2 years ago. We are stuck and screwed with high prices. The only thing we can hope for now is that the prices in groceries stay flat for a couple of years while wages tick up, if you will. But no, I don't see all of a sudden, milk down at $1.99 a gallon again or something like that. I don't see that at all. Because again, that's you can't you can, but it doesn't work too well. Taking stuff away from people. The dairy farmers aren't all of a sudden going, yeah, you know what? We've been getting, I understand the dairy farmers don't get the retail price of milk. But, oh, gee, we've been selling milk for $3.49 a gallon. Now we'll go back to selling it for $1.99 a gallon. No, they're not going to do that. Obviously, it's a percentage. I don't know what the markups are, but even if you say it was half, they're not saying from $1.75 of the 350 to $1 of the $2. They're not cut that back because again, you got to think about what goes into it. Food prices aren't coming down until fertilizer costs, until gasoline, diesel fuel comes down. The price of all this stuff. You need cattle feed or whatever. Ask anybody who's got chickens. Chicken feed is still expensive. It's not just the price of groceries. We need the price of diesel fuel to come down to make groceries go down. There's a lot of moving parts. Unlike AOC, who believes that food comes from the grocery store. Anybody who got an economics degree somewhere other than BU knows something about economics. Tom, what are thoughts on the Iran conflict? Well, Iran is typically doing the thing that Iranians usually do. Is they think, just like Zelensky does, that they're a big player in the world stage, and they're basically a shit country that you scrape off the bottom of your shoe. But Iran thought today what their great idea was they were going to start placing threats against the United States. That ain't going to end up too well for you. Okay, Iran has no missile defense shield at all. The Israelis took that out a few weeks back. So if Trump decided to send a missile barrage into Iran's gone. And that probably, in my opinion, that would be a good thing. I'd like to see the entire Middle East a sheet of glass and take every one of the sheep herders and the heathens with them. Oh, I'm sorry, if they could come up with some sort of uh, COVID that was, never mind, I'm not going to go there. I'll probably get shut down. All right. Diane S. Where are all of the people getting laid off from jobs? So many people getting the X. Okay. Now, this is this is a very good question. You could do all the smart ass comments out there like Barack Obama. Well, they could go learn a code, okay, or you could tell them, hey, they can go pick vegetables, go work construction. But this is the thing. Depending on what we're talking about, yes, there's a lot of people getting laid off from uh, corporate America. There's a whole lot of people getting laid off from government jobs too. Where are they going to go to work? Well, uh, what skills do they have? If they're a decent accountant, they could probably find a job with a company somewhere. I mean, even if they're a CPA, maybe an accounting firm, but if they're a decent payroll accountant or something like that, they can find a job using that as an example. But if they were some clerk typist working for the FDA or something like that, gee, I'm sorry, you don't have any skills that transfer to any other industry. Guess what? You're going to need to get new skills. You're going to need to change your industry. Oh, that's too difficult? Well, come cry on my shoulder. Let me tell you how much sympathy I have for you. When I left a career shortly after 9/11, about 2 years after 9/11, because I was working as a broker, and 9/11 destroyed that entire industry. And I had to completely reinvent myself in a totally new career. And how old was I? Uh, just about 40. Yeah, okay. I think he was 37. Okay. Well off into my career. And I had to start an entirely new career. Not going to get any sympathy from me if I'm going to have to do something different. Oh, maybe you're going to have to take a pay cut to do it too. Guess what? Don't come crying to me. Been there, done that. And I can pretty much bet that most everybody that works in the corporate world didn't expect anymore to work for 40 years for the same company and retire with a pension, because that's what government employees think. I got my government job and I'll just stay here and bide my time for 40 years and that's it. Oops, doesn't work so well anymore. Not my problem. Okay. Do I feel for you? Do I feel for your kids? Yeah, mom, dad lost their job. Get it. Okay. But the grift ends for everybody. Eventually, you know, all good things come to an end. We've been milking off the government, living off the government dole for 11 years, honey. Yeah, what's our plan if something ever happens? Well, we don't have one. I work for the government. Not a good plan. Okay. Uh, yeah, Robert's pretty quick there. If you're an ass in chat, Pinball won't see you. Yeah, that's true. I won't because I'm 15 minutes behind in the chat. Long since got it before I'm going to see it. So the mods do a good job. UC Chrissy, hey Pinball, does Mrs. P watch all your videos? Either watch them or she's sitting in the same room as I'm recording them. I'll be sitting in my chair, she'll be sitting on the couch listening, and then we'll talk about the video beforehand, ideas that she has that I'll bring up. I mean, as I'm sitting here at the kitchen table right now, she's in the living room laying on the couch, smiling, listening because she hears what's going on. So yeah, she stays very much. She's a very big contributor to a lot of the things I talk about on the video because I will bounce a lot of ideas off her and see what her opinions are too. Joe Shinpaw, Pinball came in from outside. There's a light haze and a sweet smell in the air. Is that the fog thing? I hear fog. Man, that was what 4 or 5 months ago already. I no idea what I mean. I don't even know where you are, so no idea what that even possibly could be. So I'm not going to guess without having any information whatsoever. Lightning 77. I'm on a budget. Is buying silver to eventually trade it for gold a bad move? Not at all. Uh, you're participating on the precious metals upside as a whole, and you're almost playing an arbitrage in there, depending on the gold to silver ratio. And right now, the ratio favors silver. So yeah, you're actually buying silver cheaper. Don't ask me to get into it, but the whole ratio, you're actually buying silver cheaper than you're buying gold. And I'm not saying $35 and $3,100. I'm not saying that. It's on the ratio. The ratio of gold to silver should be about 80 to 1. Okay. Uh, so right now you're buying silver. Silver is still cheap. Gold is obviously at all-time highs. No, I wouldn't fault you for that strategy whatsoever. JB Schaefer, don't need to be in their office. Don't need to be in DC. Do your job from your home state. Let your constituents monitor your activity. Okay. Uh, let's see how well that works. Because I think I mentioned this maybe about 3 weeks ago. I want to say it was the Department of Labor, if I remember correctly. The cafeteria workers at the Department of Labor cafeteria haven't gone to work since COVID. They've been collecting a paycheck. When have you ever known a cafeteria worker that can work from home? They did, and they got paid for 3.5 years for working from home. Okay. This is the problem with work from home. I've worked from home for years. Okay. There was a difference, though. I've got a work ethic. I actually did my job, and I was recruiting. I was outperforming every other recruiter in the company. When we were judged by how many people we place, and they'd say, "We expect you to place 6 people a month," and I was going, "Okay, I'm pulling off about 14. Leave me alone. Just let me do my job." And there'd be other people. I got 2. Okay. What were you doing? Oh, I was at the grocery store. Well, I had to take my kid to soccer practice. That's the problem. Okay. The oversight of work from home people take advantage of it. I mean, I remember one person that I worked with. This is a true story here. She stopped work every day between 3 and 4 because that was what time Judge Judy came on. Wanted to watch Judge Judy. So she didn't take any calls or do anything for that hour. In the middle of the afternoon, workday was from 8 to 5. Okay? 3 to 4 is part of your work day. I don't mind. I mean, I think work from home actually can be a very good thing for a lot of reasons. Uh, but only certain people are cut out to work from home. There's way too many people, and this is again a failure of society. Way too many people in society that have to be supervised, otherwise they will just take advantage of it. They won't do it. Debbie Seibert, hey Mr. P, my plants starting from seed are all stem and few leaves. What can I do about it? Without knowing what kind of plants, that doesn't help. What I would try to do, I showed you the compost tea. I'd make a diluted compost tea and start give it a little bit to your seedlings there, or I'd really dilute out some nitrogen fertilizer. I'll give you just an easy way to do something like that. When you make coffee in the morning, okay, take the coffee grounds out. Make your cup of coffee, throw it, and take the coffee grounds, put them in a mason jar full of water or something like that, the used coffee grounds, and get a very weak coffee. Just let them sit overnight, and get some of the nitrogen from a very weak coffee mixture and put that in. I don't know why you don't have leaves, but the biggest solution for green growth is always you've got a nitrogen deficiency. Uh, Christopher Elliott says, how many heads rolled over the tax kerfuffle? I don't know what we're talking about there, so I can't answer. George Marco is a Wisconsinite. I hope we send a wet message to Madison. I hope you do too, because as I said this morning, I mean, this can completely screw up everything. If Wisconsin puts, was it Susan Thompson? I think was her name. They put her in there. You're going to have a redistricting. You're going to have Wisconsin's going to flip blue again. You're going to have more Democrats in House. Nothing's going to get done. And I mean, you got Hakeem Jeffries up there today. I mean, he's on a 24-hour filibuster right now, lying. You know, he's told more lies in 24 hours than the rest of Congress has told this year combined. Oh, food prices are going up. No, dumbass, they're going down. Gas prices are going up. No, dumbass, they're going down. Trump's cutting Social Security. No, he's not. You know, just lying, lying, lying. Al says Israel dropped all tariffs with the U.S. today, which is good. Be what Trump is trying to do. Okay? He's trying to get fair trade. Okay. And free trade in the definition of free as in not cost, not free trade by you can do whatever you want, free will, free trade. You want to send stuff here? Great. We want to send stuff there? Great. This is how it works. Okay. But when Canada wants to charge us 270% tax on milk, you know, I don't see any problem with saying, fine, we're going to charge you 270% on the milk you send here. No, you can't do that. That's not fair. That's absolutely fair. Go open up Webster's and look at the definition of what fair is. You know, fair is not other countries taking advantage of us. Israel, same light. Dale from Ohio, what is my take on Putin requesting another 160,000 soldiers? Think he's trying to. No, I did see Putin is conscripting more people, basically meaning drafting them into the military. But Putin knows, just like everybody else in the world, except for the grifters from Europe and Zelensky, everybody else in the world knows Ukraine has zero chance of winning the war. And so Putin is going to keep the pressure on, keep the pressure on, keep the pressure on, and he's going to take a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more in territory. So when Zelensky finally gives up and says, okay, let's talk peace, Putin goes, great, we'll give you back all this territory, the stuff he didn't want in the first place, but he's going to keep stuff he did want. So the whole point is Putin drafting more soldiers is to put more pressure on Ukraine and Europe to say, we need to end this. That's I would if I'm Putin, I'm doing the same thing. I'm winning. I'm gonna keep my boot on your neck until you decide you're done. Uh Kilo 2 Bravo, Pinball. What are my thoughts on diversifying stocks to have greater international exposure? If the dollar collapses, does this offer any protection? Okay. Before I even start this, I'm going to totally qualify this and say I am not giving anybody financial advice here. Okay, this is strictly my opinion. Uh, would I do it? No. Okay. I understand you're going to get people out there say, oh, you're safer investing in China now than you are in the United States. No. Okay. Again, my opinion, my opinion, my opinion. How goes the United States goes to the rest of the world? Go look at pretty much any country's GDP and see where their biggest exporting, who the biggest buyer is of their exports. It's us in pretty much all countries. Okay, you know, Germany's not sending more Mercedes to the Sudan than they are to the United States. You know, Mexico, I mean, what is it? A third of their GDP comes from shipping stuff to the U.S. Uh, Canada's about the same. They need the United States. We have a petrodollar. We do not have a petro euro or a petro yen or something like that. No, it's a petrodollar. We're not going to have any petro bricks, whatever the hell they call it. It's not going to work. The other thing is you got to remember the types of risk you have, because you have market risk, which obviously is things going down. But one of the big ones that people always forget about when they invest internationally is you also have a currency risk, which is basically the exchange rate between currencies. So even if, let's just say you've got two banana companies, okay, one in the United States and one in Argentina, and the banana companies do exactly the same amount of profit, but the dollar goes up in value and the Argentine peso goes down in value. They did the exact same stuff, but now you got to play this currency risk too. Okay, I I get where people say put money in internationally. Okay, even conventional wisdom back 30 years ago when I was working on Wall Street was no more than 10%. Then you got to figure out what do you want to. You want to go invest in China? Great. What happens if China goes to war with Taiwan? You want to invest in South America? Oh yeah, because there's so many great things going on down in South America right now. You know, Australia, hey, no problem. They're going communist faster than you can imagine. Where do you want back to Africa? You know, Europe, there's a place I would put money in right now. I mean, unless you're buying, companies in some halal food company in Europe, I don't think there's any good investments there at all. Uh, yeah, personal opinion, I wouldn't put a penny in international. Companies that you invest in domestically are going to have some international exposure. You buy Microsoft or Google or pick something. You're getting enough international exposure by the business that they do overseas. No need to add to the risk you're taking. Uh, Rope Stacker, great thinking, snagging Ford on the tariffs. I copied that one. Did you end up getting the buy-in? Oh yeah. I mean, when I was talking about it, yes, I got Ford where we were picking it up at about, I think it was 961 shares where we got in. I didn't get down at the 911, and it dropped that one day. But I think we got in at 961. The one I love is Philip Morris. When I told you about Philip Morris, or when I told you I was buying Philip Morris, not when I told you. I think the stock is up 17% since I focused. So, add that on top to an 8% yield I'm getting. I'll take a 25% return. Uh, boring widows and orphans stock. It's just why I like gold and silver. The old boring stuff. Everybody can love the hot rods. Hey, I got to invest in the Magnificent Seven companies or whatever. Yeah, okay. Somebody tell me how well those are going this year. Uh, the boring old school growth and income stocks are the ones that are actually doing pretty well this year, and gold outperforming them all. Rick's Corner. What did I say to protect our home title? I said I'm the opposite. I mean, there's some of these people that are talking about title lock companies. I was having a conversation with somebody about this, but they do. I didn't say anything to protect your home title. I told you that I think these home title lock companies are a scam. Uh, and I'll just give you my exact reasoning. Nobody's walking into the county clerk's office with one piece of paper that has a forged signature on it, and obviously no eyewitness, no notary seal or anything like that. So, I just bought this house from Pinball, so it's mine now. Can you change the deed? And the clerk doesn't go, oh, okay. You ever bought a house? Oh my God, the title searches they've got to do, title insurance, the IDs that you got to put, buy the house in cash. Okay, you're still signing 30 pages of documents and stuff like that. Nobody's going to be able to one off fraudulently, and then the thing is they're going to say, oh, well, yeah, even if they did, well, they paid you, right? When you say, I never did this, I'm saying hypothetically, never got that far. Nope, I never got that. Well, show me the wire transfer receipt where you sent me the money to buy my house. Well, you don't have one of those. Oh, so that never happened. No, I think these home title lock things are as much a scam as like LifeLock is and stuff like that. I want to lock down my credit report. TransUnion, tump, 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 tump. Okay, all my credit cards are locked. Didn't cost me $150 a month or whatever they charge you. Nope. Oh, we'll protect you for up to $1 million. Let me see if I put if there's any fraudulent charges on my credit card. I have 30 days to dispute it, and the credit card will investigate it and give me my money back. Like, then the next one is, well, what if somebody opens a card and it's not in your name and it's somewhere else? I don't think they might look and go, gee, all Mr. Pinball's records go to him at this Sharps Chapel address that's on your credit report. But for some reason, he wants this credit card sent to Bozeman, Montana. I want to look in that one. And that's when you go, okay, bank, you got screwed for not doing your due diligence. Now, hey, and that's what I'm saying. The fool and his money are soon parted. There's plenty of companies out there that will love to separate you from your money. I mean, how many of you have got the texts or the emails in the last couple of months saying you have tollways that are outstanding? I mean, I laugh when I get them. There aren't any tolls in Tennessee, but somehow I miss tolls. Okay, it's just let people, they keep doing these scams because people keep falling for them. It's the same thing with your computer has a virus. Call us at Microsoft. I mean, this scam's been going on for 20 years. They still run it because it still works. Paprika Pauline, my beets have been growing since last year. Beautiful leaves, but no beets. Too shallow, maybe because they planted the baby pool. That beets grow right at the surface. So I mean, they're like onions, if you will, for that. Half of your beet is going to be outside, above the soil line. So that's certainly not it. I'm confused to what you're saying, but growing since last year. I don't know where you live. I mean, beets are not a perennial. If you've got beets off from before, they're done. But again, I don't know where. I mean, if you're in Mexico, maybe you're getting beets right now. But I mean, beets need the time, and it's way too early to have beets. So, and shallow is not an issue. I mean, unless you've got to plant it in 2 inches of dirt. I'm hoping you've got a baby pool. They're in 8 inches of dirt. And it could be a complete lack of fertilizer, too. If you don't have potassium and phosphorus in there, you're not going to get root vegetables either. Kitsy Witty, how is the real estate market near me doing? Because I'm having a hard time selling my house. I really can't say. It's not like I pay attention to what houses are buying. I mean, because real estate does not move fast here. I mean, again, like I told you, when we bought this house, it's been on the market for 3 years. There's not a whole lot of people that are moving out here. So I really can't say. I don't pay enough attention to it. And it's not like, I mean, there's properties for sale up the road here from me that have had the same for sale sign in front of them since we moved here, and that's 6 years ago. And the property's still for sale. I mean, what does that tell me? I mean, I know what's going on. If the people have the prices overpriced because they paid too much for the property, and now we're trying to get their money out of it. And I'm realizing that just because they paid $100,000 for an acre of land doesn't mean somebody else is going to give them $100,000 for an acre of land. Uh, Rick Massey lives in northern Michigan. We got whacked. Some prayers. I'm assuming you're talking about that ice storm. I saw that was pretty wicked. It north Wisconsin, the UP, and upstate Michigan. Uh, Snow and ice. I mean, it's like, come on, it's the beginning of April. It's like we're done with winter. All right, let's get on to spring. Uh, Kevin Little, what tomatoes do you think produce the most? I grew old girl here, Central New York, got a lot. We'll do again. We grow different tomatoes every year. This year we are growing mortgage lifters and I forget it's some sort of red plum tomato. I forget the name of it, but mortgage lift. We were going to grow hillbillies, and I decided to grow mortgage lifters. I mean, there's thousands of different varieties of tomatoes, and I just like trying different ones. And if I've got seeds for them, I'll do it. I've had some. Depends on what you want to do with it too. I mean, a couple of years ago we did the black crim tomatoes, and they tasted wonderful. They were great salad tomatoes, but they aren't. But they're very juicy tomatoes. They're not the type of tomato that you want for making chili out of or making salsa out of. There's not a lot of meat to it. It's more the juice to it. So I can't say which ones produce the most because, like I said, there's thousands of them, and I haven't obviously grown them all. Uh, but I mean, again, if you had great luck with early girls, keep growing early girls. I mean, that's it. Find what works for you, what grows well, what you like, store the way you want to store it, and grow that. I mean, I've got tomato juice and tomato sauce, and chili, and stuffed peppers and stuffed cabbage, and we still planted tomatoes this year because Mrs. B likes them fresh, and we'll still store some up, and make chili out of some, but we just like eating tomatoes. And they taste so much better once you get to the store because there's actually taste. Pennsylvania country girl. Pennsylvania is to get 4 days of rain through to Monday. Okay. Good luck. My phone says, on and here a Biden shirt. Yeah, it says Biden Fetterman. It's a no-brainer. It's a joke T-shirt. Now you couldn't see it. I get it all the way so you can see the bottom. Let's see. I got to wait for it to come up there. There we go. It's a no-brainer. Get it? They have no brains. So there. All right. I put this shirt on this morning. I got a live stream. They're going to give me crap for it. Like, all right, whatever. Deborah Musgrove, big rains and moderate tornado risk for Eastern tomorrow. Great. That means it's probably Thursday. Yippee. Nice. Just what we need. Healthy disrespected for authority. Did I find out what's going on with my investment account? Yes. And we finally got that all fixed. It was just fat fingers, but it was just a pain in the ass to go through all that. It was half a day's worth of calling people and trying to get them, nobody ever answers the phone. Leave a voicemail and they'll call you back. It's like, okay, and you wait 2 hours till they call you back. Well, let me get somebody from a different department. Yeah. Oh, okay. Kitsy just asked again about my shirt. I just did that. Work defying. Say, do my musical tastes have the charm to soothe the savage beast or add to it? My musical tastes. Let's see. Considering we've gone through these questions, most of you guys know music I listen to is primarily your good 70s and 80s rock. Uh, favorite band is AC/DC. Some country music I like is more of your 90s country. Uh, I like music that's got some energy to it. I don't need something to put me to sleep. I want something that's going to get me pumped up. So yeah. So no, I'm not soothing any savage beast. Let's see. Do. There we go. Yarn Prepper said, "Did you hear it? Whoops! Did I hear your Wisconsin government governor something?" And then shut down the bottom. Wait a second. I'm trying to find where it was. Uh, and I can't go any further. All right. Sorry, Yarn Prepper. I'm going to miss that question. Nikki Sassiano, have I heard anything regarding the Insurrection Act 1807 being enforced on April 20th? No, I have not. So I can't comment on it. Last Boy Scout said no, both Florida states have stayed red, so that's good. So now waiting for Wisconsin. That's good too. Let's hope that goes. Jeannie Maynard, are we still carnivore? Is it working for you? I've kind of flipped over to keto, basically, just because I like vegetables. And so it's like, okay, we'll have, like tonight, we had chicken thighs and some cabbage salad, I guess, if you call it. So, but you want some crunch in your diet or whatever. I grow all this stuff. I'd like to eat it. I mean, am I stuffing my face full of cookies and candy? No, that's not. But I'd say we're more on a keto diet, and it's still working. I mean, I've been hovering right around 280 here for better part of a year at this point. So, I mean, I guess I'm pretty much in maintenance mode at this point. But that's still 30 pounds I dropped. And not eating the sugars and everything. I mean, obviously, it's a diet Coke. And then somebody's going to say something about the aspartame or the saccharin or whatever it is in there. It's like, I get it. Okay. Living is dangerous to your health. Something's going to kill me. If it's not aspartame, if it's not vaping, if I live the perfect clean life, guarantee you my house will get hit by lightning. So eventually I'm going to go. Something's going to get me. I'm going to enjoy my life while I have. CC, did I do keto first and then transition to carnivore, or just went straight carnivore? I went straight carnivore and then kind of transferred to keto. So that was pretty much how we did. And nothing wrong with doing carnivore. It's like my breakfast is still bacon and eggs. I mean, that's it. There's no pancakes, no waffles, no nothing. It's like, okay. I mean, we go through, Mrs. P and I probably go through 2.5, 3 dozen eggs a week. Fortunately, we got friends with chickens. But every once in a while, we got to go buy some. But yeah, I needed some diversity in my diet. Eating the same thing. I mean, first off, steaks in the budget every day. That just ain't happening. I mean, granted, we got our cow, but I could go through the maybe dozen and a half steaks that came out of the cow, at least the ribeyes. Like to eat the ribeyes. All right, great. That's gone in 2 weeks. What do I eat from there out? You want some diversity. And so it's still eating the fattier cuts of meat. I mean, the dark meat chicken, eating the ribeye pork chops, eating the chuck roast from the cow, 75-25 ground beef. So you're getting that fat in there. That we're still sticking to. But again, it's like, all right, I want something different. The asparagus are coming up. Hey, great. You know what? Have a few spears of asparagus with dinner. That came out of my garden. I put a lot of effort in growing this stuff. I'd like to enjoy it. Okay, moving on down. That one too much. No, Brian, I will 100% agree with you. Too many unearned trophies ruined ethics in society. That you're absolutely 100% right. Participation trophies, it's not even that anymore. You don't even have to participate. It's just attendance trophies. Oh, Joe, you're here. Congratulations. Here's your trophy. Oh, cool. You don't even participate. Vicky, what have I planted in my garden so far? In the garden is my onions and garlic are the only things that are in the ground. In the greenhouse is beets, cabbage, 2 kinds of tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. Then once everything is in, then we will also have corn, green beans. Asparagus obviously is always there. Nope, that's it. Yeah, so that's it. So like I said earlier, just got corn and green beans are the only things that are left. Uh, Chris the cat, did I correct the tax lien and regain access to? I had it done that the next morning when I got up, they had everything back, so that was fine. So everything was good. Yeah, that pissed me off. Busted Beaks is gas prices in western South Dakota have gone up 30 cents in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to pass the gas station. Gas here was the cheapest I saw was 266 at the grocery store, and then most of the gas stations were at 269. So it hasn't moved anything here. So I don't know what. I mean, oil prices are going to fluctuate or whatever, but with South Dakota, could the storms that just went through had anything to do with that too? I mean, whether it's the snowstorm or whether it was all the rain and tornadoes. I mean, I don't know why. Just there's always a reason. Reagan dogs his weeks to count the Wisconsin ballots. It better not. I mean, we got countries. When India can count 1 billion ballots in a day, uh, what's Wisconsin expecting in this election? 100,000 or so ballots. I mean, come on. That should 20 people should be able to count those this evening by hand. Not that difficult. Guideline strike. Pinball. There we go. Just renamed myself. Pinball from rural Wisconsin voted. I worried about turnout. Milwaukee and Madison ruled vote. Yeah, they. I mean, that's like anything else. Illinois, Chicago rules the vote. It's just most states. It's like that. I mean, California, Los Angeles and San Francisco ruin it for everybody else. Kitsy Witty, do I think that Putin just wants to build resort towns like Trump had talked about with him during his first term in office? Because that would be a winning situation. I don't think Putin has any interest in so resort towns. That's not his game plan. No. Back to basics kitchen. How high do I think silver will go by the end of the year? I don't remember what I said in January. I had a guess. High 30s, maybe 38, somewhere around there. If silver breaks 40, I don't see it significantly further than that. I mean even from where we are, where's silver close today? Like 34, 33 and a half, something like that. If it goes up to 37 and a half, that's still a 12% run from here. That silver's already up 10%. So yeah, I mean, if we get above 35 on silver by the end of the year, that's still a great year for silver. Josh Farrow, thank you for the super chat. Says, I saw a leftist video saying Japan was trying to distance themselves from the U.S. and go with foreign fighters. I don't see that being possible. Funny, because that's completely contrary to what the rest of the world is talking about what's going on with Japan. How Japan is coming out themselves and saying that they are doing war with the United States to combat the Chinese threat. I mean, if it's on leftist news, guarantee it's a lie. Okay? Like I said, it's no different than Hakeem talking about how food prices and gas prices are going up, which is completely not true. Or egg prices and gas prices, completely not true. But they can say it anyway. All right, 8:59. One more here if I can find one. Tony Lawrence, I hope someone steals my house. Okay. LG Girl, our county lets you put a free notification alert for any changes to your deed. There's a great that availability to that. That could protect you too in case somebody puts a mechanic's lien on your house or something like that, or a contractor's lien. That's good. Uh, Gets you last question. Have you run into problems getting your money out of the bank? I have. They only let us take 200 out at a time. There's a lot of that now that the banks are reducing the amount of money you can take out of the ATM, and you know, giving people all sorts of hell for trying to get money out of the bank. I still get a kick out of when they try to reduce money out of the ATMs because they still want to charge you that fee. You know, oh, we're going to charge you a $3 fee for taking out $20. Oh, so you're fine. We're paying 15% to take out your own money. Well, I want to take out $200 because then it's only 1.5%. Okay, you can't take that much out. We need to keep our fees up. And again, the banks don't have a lot of cash because they've screwed everything up too. There's a lot of this. This is why anytime you guys get cash, stuff it away somewhere so you've got it for an emergency situation. Go that way. All right, 9 o'clock. I don't want to step on Jason's toes. Y'all have a good evening. See you. Pinball out.